Hello, hello, hello. I'm Dr. Rita Louise, and welcome to Monday Night Live, where you get to ask all of your questions, and I'll come up with some kind of an answer one way or the other. And so, thank you all for joining me tonight. And I'm going to start the broadcast off talking about herbs and supplements and health for a little while. And just offering some, just really basic advice to everyone. So one of the things that I'm often asked is, what kind of things should I do daily to take care of myself and my health? And I have friends that, God love them, take handfuls of supplements every day. Okay, so I'm not all that compliant and I can't do that. But one thing that we can do that is pretty easy and pretty straightforward is to take a high quality multiple vitamin and mineral supplement that gives you a broad range of nutrients to take. Um, so here's some rules of thumbs with vitamins. When you're talking about a high quality vitamin and mineral supplement, usually it's best to get them either in a capsule or in a tablet form. But if you get a tablet and you take it out of the bottle and you can't easily break the tablet in half, then you probably don't want to take that supplement. I mean, if you bought them, take them, but the next time you go to buy some, don't get those again. Um, excuse me. The same with one a day supplements. And, excuse my kind of creepy way of describing it, but one a day supplements, those etherically, they got that casing on the outside, makes them look like an M&M. But the etherically coated vitamins are kind of like corn. So you eat corn, and then the next day, what do you see coming out? Corn. And so when you take those vitamins, it's like many people's digestive juices are not strong enough and they can't break them down. And so they take the vitamin, think they're getting the nutrition out of it, but really it's just corn. So next time you go to the store and you want to buy a one a day vitamin, think of me. Corn. Don't do it. But there are a few other things that I like to make sure I always have in my house in case of some kind of an emergency. My number one thing is oregano oil. Oregano oil is antibacterial, microbial, antifungal. It's anti. So if you're not feeling well, you think you might have a little like bacterial infection going on, you feel like you're getting the bug, um, you have a yeast infection, great for yeast infections, oregano oil. And I'm not saying take it every day, but if you have situations that come up and you think you're getting sick, pop a couple of oregano oil. It would be worth it. Something else that many people have in their homes already is chamomile. So I'm talking your basic chamomile tea. And one of the things that's really good about chamomile is that it is something that you can take to calm your jangled nerves. And actually, I skipped something. So back in more your daily kind of thing, the world is crazy right now, and our stress levels are over the top. And one of the things that I've been seeing a lot of my clients is adrenal fatigue, where we're just not processing our stress very well. And our adrenals are hot and burned out, and we're tired and we're having a lot of fatigue. So I would highly recommend on a regular basis taking some kind of adrenal support supplement. When it's a combination, you get things like licorice root and ashwagandha and a whole bunch of other good stuff that will feed and nourish the adrenal glands. One thing, a little caution I have is that some adrenal supports have glandulars in them. So if in the ingredient list you see something like porcine or bovine, that means there's cow parts and pig parts. but it also means that there's adrenal glands in there, which is really good if you have extremely severe burnout, but it's not something that you should take on a regular or daily basis. And it's much better to use that, on a limited time or under the guidance of a health practitioner. Okay, back to, medicine cabinet. Vitamin C, those emergencies are great to have at home, great to have on hand. Again, feeling a little bit under the weather, drink a vitamin C. You can take a lot of vitamin C because it washes out in your urine. And so you don't have to worry about overdosing or over taking it. And so, if you take two a day, like if you're really not feeling good and you take two, which is 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, that's pretty good. Okay. One of the other things that I like to have on hand is ginger. So I'm lazy, and I just get the ginger tablets, but getting ginger like from the supermarket and, eating it or boiling it. One of the great things about ginger is that it helps reduce nausea and vomiting, but it improves your circulation, but it's also anti-inflammatory. And so if you have some kind of an inflammatory issue, incorporating ginger into your daily routine or your daily diet would be highly recommended. Kind of on the same level with the ginger is turmeric. Again, you can buy it at the supermarket, or you can just get capsules. Turmeric is one of the best anti-inflammatory herbs out there. One of the things that it does is it helps to loosen up bodily moisture. I don't know. But it helps to get the bile moving. And so if you're concerned, you might have a little bit of gallbladder issue going on or working on detoxifying your liver. Turmeric is a great supplement to use for those situations. And the last one I'm going to talk about is slippery elm. So slippery elm coats and soothes tissues. And so when taken internally, it will help with irritation. So like if you have an ulcer, or when my dogs are acting weird and if they're throwing up, in particular, if they're throwing up, I always give them some slippery elm because it calms their system down. But they also sell like zinc lozenges that you suck on. And they're loaded up with slippery elm and it calms down the esophagus. And so if there are issues with that, that might be something you would want to look at. But wherever there is irritation in the body, slippery elm will help address that. But one of the things that's cool about slippery elm, even if you get it in the capsule, is you can take the powder out and mix it with a little teeny bit of water and apply it to a wound, or put it on like burns or bug bites. Works great on bug bites, especially if you mix it with like some Roundup oatmeal, or any kind of inflamed tissue. It will help draw it out and calm it down. And so there obviously are hundreds and hundreds of vitamins and supplements that we can talk about at any given moment. But I wanted to offer these as just some very basic things that you can have in your home that will make it easier, make your life better. I mean, especially the daily vitamin and really paying attention to that adrenal support with what's going on right now, I think will make people feel better on a regular and daily basis. Okay, so I'm going to open up the phone lines here in a second, but before I do, I just want to remind everyone that if you would like to schedule a private consultation with me, please go to my webpage, which is soulhealer.com. That's, wait, I can push the button. Go to my webpage, which is soulhealer.com. If you are watching on Facebook, please do like Dr. Rita Louise on Facebook. So Dr. Rita Louise has my face in the profile picture and not the poodle in the tinfoil hat. And so if you're not quite sure who to like, don't send me a friend request. Dr. Rita Louise, like Dr. Rita Louise, and it'll keep you up to date for any shows that are coming up or really anything else I got going on. And if you're a YouTube person or Facebook person, it really doesn't matter. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be Just Energy Radio on YouTube. Okay, so I already can see I have comments, so I am going to take a quick look because I haven't been looking. Oh my God, we have James Arthur Yanchik, the Black Knight of Talk Radio, in the house. Hey, James, I'm live. And we have DJ in here. DJ's posted a lot of stuff. So let me just kind of scroll through. So James, if you have a question, you just like throw it out there because you know I'll always have some kind of an answer. Okay. So DJ, you made a comment that says, I take what I call my daily punch pack. I'd be curious to know, oh, hang on a second, 7 herbs in, I guess, in liquid form every day. Cool. Okay, great question, DJ. Liquid or in food is what you should take. Pill form doesn't actually digest, they go right through. I totally agree. I mean, liquid is ideal. Sometimes they can be very hard to find. So I recommend people minimally taking a capsule with any supplement they might take. I mean, the same thing goes with vitamins. You can get vitamins in a liquid form, and they're just much more bioavailable to the body, which means that you can digest them much better and much easier. Ooh, DJ's been watching me since 2017. Thank you, loyal follower. And James says, I really like your vitamin/supplement assessment so far. And James, I just wanted to offer people just some real basic stuff. When I'm working with my clients, I'll get these phone calls that, well, I have this going on, and I'm like, okay, so what do you have in your cabinet? And there are a few people that I've worked with, for a while that I recommend this list so that I can just say, well, we talked about having this. Did you buy some? Something that's not an herb, but I would like to throw on the list because I don't really have a bunch of questions yet, is something called a flower essence. And in particular, and I'm trying not to call out brand names here and let you make the choice for yourself. But this is a brand name, and it is Bach Flower Essences Rescue Remedy. And it also will help calm down the emotional system and help let you let things go. And so flower essences are vibrational remedies, similar to homeopathics, but not in the same way. And the way they work is not by drinking the whole bottle, although there have been days where I've just wanted to like, but they don't work that way, unfortunately. A good shot of bourbon, maybe, but not the flower essences. And so, it is recommended that you take 4 drops 3 times a day. You can take more drops throughout the day. I always recommend to my clients to mix it in a bottle of water. I even have a bottle of water. And then, oh, that's not working out very good, is it? And then shake it up and then sip that water throughout the day so you are getting the flower essence into you. You're getting that vibration into you all the time. Cool. So James says, perhaps basic, but important as the vitamin construction is a deal killer. Okay. Eva loves flower Bach remedies. And then DJ asks, have you ever heard of Steel Bite Pro? DJ, it makes me think of a fishing thing. So I am going to say no. I mean, unless it comes from a fishy kind of source, and I got nothing. Anyway, so I mean, we don't have a whole bunch of people in here, but does anyone have any questions, or I'm just going to keep kind of going on? All right, so I'll check back here in a second. Okay, so let's see. Oh, one other thing is gotu kola, like ginkgo biloba, gotu kola. I like to purchase them together in a liquid form, and they're great, especially for people that have migraines. You know, they cross the blood-brain barrier. So my recommendation is always, if you think you might be getting a headache, if you know you're going to be getting a headache, if you're in a situation that normally will trigger a headache, taking those supplements will help open up the blood vessels into the brain and help reduce the impact of the headache, and in particular, the impact of the migraine. So it's good. Okay, so DJ, Mr. Teacher here says to create Steel Bite Pro. It's sourced by only the purest, highest quality 23 plants, herbs, minerals, and vitamins. Okay, doesn't really tell me what that is though. Okay, and DJ, if you have a question, then lay it on me because I got an answer even if I kind of make it up, which I doubt, but sometimes. Um, you know, one of the things that I see with a lot of my clients and why I'm really was talking about taking the vitamins in particular is that there are so many of us that are not really compliant. And it's interesting because if you go to the medical doctor and they give you some high blood pressure pill, most people, because the doctor told them to take it, will take it. But if you tell them to take a vitamin, you tell them to take some kind of supplement, you know, and you have to take it for 3 weeks, they start to have issues. They start to have compliance issues. You know, but when you're working with natural remedies, one of the things that people need to remember is that prescription medications cover up the symptoms that you're experiencing, but they don't really heal the underlying issue. And so you can take a medication, you can take a pain pill or whatever, you know, and you'll start to feel better because it's the magic bullet. You know, and herbs and supplements really don't work that way. Um, they work by helping. I mean, there are some that give you more active relief, you know, like the slippery elm. You know, if you put that on a wound, it's going to give you more active relief. There's the herb valerian root, which Valium was created from, will give you some more immediate relief. Um, but many herbs in particular and supplements, you know, they work by giving the body the nutrition it needs so that it can heal itself. You know, and I always joke around, it's like, well, it took you 50 years to get to this place in the first place. Can't you give it a month to see some kind of response by the body in a healing way? Might not be perfect, but usually you can see some kind of changes going on. Uh, all right, so DJ posted this and I'm going to respond. He said, headaches are mainly caused by lack of water. I used to have migraines every day since a child 35 years ago, and I found out something horrible. Um, so I don't really agree. I mean, I think you can get headaches from being dehydrated, but I also think that there are some people, there are usually three things that will cause headaches in people. One is not having enough blood circulation where the veins in the head because of your stress level, are contracted and you're not having enough blood flow through the brain. So that's one reason. There could be toxicities in the body, such as in your liver. And again, when you're stressed out, the liver isn't able to pull the toxins out the way that it's supposed to, and then they start overflowing into the body, and you can get a headache. And then the third way is that you have something functional going on in your neck, and you just really need to go to the chiropractor and get an adjustment or some adjustments. And with everyone, it can be just one thing, or it could be a combination of all of those things. And so, I usually recommend, well, when I work with people, I can just look and go, well, your main issue is blah, 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 and this is what we need to focus on. But if you are doing this yourself, again, making sure that you're hydrated, taking the ginkgo biloba or gotu kola, which I talked about a little bit earlier. If this is an ongoing chronic thing, looking at your diet. How crappy is your diet? I look at people's energy and I kind of do this little evaluation of their toxicity level, which means what their diet's like. And I have to make concessions for Americans and for their eating habits. There are some people that eat terrible and their toxic load is huge. And then there are people that's not so much. But usually, even with my better, not my really great people, but my better people, they're still carrying around a toxic load with them. Unfortunately, those people don't normally get migraines, or they don't get toxic overload migraines. So that's really good. Um, so Eva said, very true about stress levels and migraines. Yeah, it is very true. I mean, because stress will tighten the body up. It will make every system in your body contract, which includes the blood vessels, which includes the liver, which includes the stomach. I mean, when we're under stress, many times we're in the fight, flight, or freeze response, usually fight or flight. And the job of the fight or flight system is to make it so that we can fight, beat somebody up, or we can run away and get the hell out of there. And what the body does is it releases a bunch of adrenaline, but it diverts energy from other bodily systems to make it so that you have this extra jolt of energy to fight or run away. And it makes me think of, and if you know me, I'm a bit of a Trekkie. You're watching Star Trek and, they're being fired on and there's a hole in the hull and they're like, okay, divert all available systems to life support, and so when you're in the fight or flight mode, it's like your body has diverted all of your bodily systems to life support. And that can create problems, ongoing problems, which can include headaches, especially ongoing chronic headaches. All right, so I'm just putting this up. I haven't read it. I went to school for something quantum healing, hypnosis therapy, and we had to learn what's called soul speak, and it's basically everything that can go off in the body is always a message from the soul. And that is totally true. But I'm going to kind of frame it in a different way, DJ. When I work with clients, especially if they are having some kind of, hi, Marcel, ask a question. Thank you for coming. Yay. But if I'm working with someone and they have some kind of a chronic issue going on, I will go and I'll touch an organ, their liver or their stomach. And regardless of where I go, if that organ is being affected, there is always some kind of a core belief. And that core belief, kind of tying in with what you're saying, is inhibiting our soul from flowing through us completely, correctly. And that's where the disease is coming from in the first place, is because you know, we have this stuff going on. Okay, let's see. He said, we learned everything we were told from doctors. I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't give a shit. Is actually not what's happening. I don't know that I totally agree with that, DJ. Um, sometimes they do know what they're talking about. A lot of the times they just kind of make this stuff up. I mean, their ability to tune into um, what the body is saying, you know, they're not taught that. So, hey, Chris and Jerry, or Jerry, if you have any questions, please do ask. Keith, my buddy. Center of Light radio.com. I think that's it. But Keith, if you have a question, I would love to help. Also, you worked with Dolores Cannon. I met her once. I never really studied with her, but she was a awesome lady. So, Marcel, I've been talking about herbs and supplements and stuff like that, but we can talk about anything that you happen to put up on the board. If you have a personal question that you would like to get a reading about, throw that out there. If you want to toss out a topic, you know me, I'll talk about just about anything. Since this is Facebook and YouTube, I do have to limit a certain amount on certain topics that I will talk about or not, because I don't really want to get my stuff banned. So, okay, great. Yeah, Eva, I can't control what the hell is going on. I just have to like be the talking head and, you know, go with it. Oh, hang on one second. Let me try something. I wonder if this will help. No, because I'm not on this line. I don't know. I tried something. It might help. It might not. Who the hell knows? Um, this is like mystery science theater. You set it up and then you pray, and I didn't bring my little shaman rattle to shake around to make this thing work correctly. So, okay. So James added, I've added ground chia to my shake. Can I also add ground flaxseed, or is that overkill? Um, I mean, if you add, well, I think it might be a bit much to want to or try to digest, but they give you different characteristics. And in particular with the flaxseed, you're going to get flaxseed oil. As a byproduct of adding the flaxseed in there. And so, I kind of like the flaxseed a little bit better. Or if you kind of do more of a 50-50 mix, but I get the impression that you're already adding a pretty good amount of the ground chia seeds in there. And so maybe you can just come up with some kind of little formula or formulation to mix the two up, but I'm not feeling like adding more is going to be better. I think it would be overkill. Okay. Okay, one tablespoon. Yeah, but that seems like, I mean, because that stuff gets gelatinous. All right, the flaxseed gets gelatinous. I'm not really sure about the chia seeds. I think that gets gelatinous too. And so I think the more you add, you'll be scooping it out and eating like shake jello stuff. So, All right, DJ's back. DJ's been talking, so I'm just kind of like picking and chewing. And he's talking about this kind of session work that he does. And it says it knows the answer. And this is this soul speak thing to anything you ask it. But DJ, if you ask your higher self and if you open yourself up to receiving the vibration and the frequency that your client is emitting, it's not that technique. It's just about opening yourself up to receiving the vibration and the energy that the client is projecting. And, all right, I'm going to put a little and on that. And having the, and having the right framework to ask the right questions. A lot of times people don't ask the right questions, and even a very small and very subtle shift in the wording of a question can give you two totally different results. I was doing a class at one point in time, and it was a psychic development class, and I gave everyone cards, and they had like 10%, 20%, 30, and it had up to 100%. And I would ask questions, and their responsibility was to identify the correctness of the statement or question based on percentage. So if they really weren't in agreement with it, or they thought that it wasn't a really good idea, they would give it like 10%. But if they thought it was really great, they would give it 100%. And so the question I asked the group was, how much so it was a woman that we were working on. And I said, well, how much in agreement is she into getting in a relationship? And it was interesting because half the room gave very low numbers, which was my impression. And a number of people in the room gave her very high numbers. And so I asked the people that gave her the really high numbers, what was the question that they really internalized? And they shifted it. They asked the question, but how much does she want to get in a relationship? Well, she wanted to get in a relationship. And so the numbers that they revealed were actually a correct response to that question. But if you really looked at her energy with that other question, how much is she in agreement? It's like mentally she wanted the relationship, but there was this whole other part of her that really didn't want to spend the time and deal with being in a relationship. And it would have just been a lot easier for her to not, even though there was this other part that wanted to, if that makes sense. So anyway, anybody else have some questions? James, thank you for the questions. DJ, thank you for the wonderful conversation. If you want to move on to another topic, I'm great with that. Keith, if you're still here, or Jerry, if you have any questions. Marcel, come on. I know you're always good for a question or a topic. Throw something at me. Miss Eva, I'm not sure who else is here. I'm just kind of like skimming through. Okay. All right. Eva's got a question that's long, which is going to take me a second. I'm going to read slow. How do you deal? One of my favorite topics. How do you deal with narcissistic parent that is controlling the whole family against you, especially when this is going on for whole life? Would like to have some relationships, but as an empath and also energy healer, it is extremely difficult for me to be around this person. So Eva, and so there's a couple of different choices, and I'm going to take this down because this is really big. There are a couple of different choices that you have. You can take a step back and, cut off your relationship with that parent. I think a more effective way of dealing with them is just really limiting your time and you deciding in advance how long you're going to go for, how much crap you're going to put up with, and create boundaries for yourself so that you are more in protection mode versus at the whim of them. Being able to set and communicate boundaries is really important. And being able to hold the boundary, especially if, the controlling parent is, or the narcissistic parent, as you said, is really controlling. I mean, me personally, my family, east of the Mississippi River, that's how I control it. They're all east of the Mississippi River, and I don't have to worry about visiting them unless I want to. And it takes a whole lot of problems out of the situation. But that's not always the case for everyone. Um, but I think you deciding what works for you, what's good for you, and then sticking up for yourself, loving yourself, even if it pisses them off. Because unless you're doing what they want you to do, then you're only ever going to piss them off. If you set any kind of boundary that's not the boundary that they want, is going to piss them off. And so you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. You can either listen and submit yourself to their will, or you can take care of yourself and love yourself and walk out the door, even if it's just for the evening or an hour, or go into the bathroom and chill out, from a situation that happens. And so, you can't change them, but you can change how you relate to them. Um, and it's a hard one. It sucks. East of the Mississippi. That's my advice. Move on the other side of the country, and then the whole thing goes away. Okay, so hang on. I'm flipping through here. Okay, so DJ's back talking about his soul thing. DJ, you're kind of pitching yourself here, which is kind of annoying me a little bit. So I'm just like communicating my truth, but it sounds like, and I know that Dolores Cannon does this, she's teaching you to channel, and I don't channel, I'm not interested in channeling. I'm not interested in having spirits or souls or anything move through my body. They already come through enough, and I do not actively invite that. Okay, but there was somebody else down here. Okay, so MNRD 34, MNRD 34 asked if I believe in muscle testing. And so I'll say it this way: muscle testing doesn't work for me, and using a pendulum doesn't work for me. And when I try to use them, I don't get results, whether I'm doing it on myself or I'm doing it on someone else. And I think for me, it's because I don't really want to ask a yes or no question. It's like I want to ask the question and receive, the yes or no, and blah, 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 blah. And I think my psyche thinks it's too slow. I don't really know. I just know that if they don't work for me. But I've known other people that that's their thing. They vibrate and resonate with that as their analytics tool, as the method that they use to interact with a person and interact with their body. And so, if it's a modality that works for you, same with pendulums, then I would work with it, because I do believe that you get correct information. Again, they just don't work for me. And I think everybody is different. So, yeah. Okay, Eva says, thank you, Rita. That's exactly what I'm doing. Well, then that's great. Um, and really, even that really is all you can do, is to look to take care of yourself and protect yourself, from the situation that's going on. Okay, so Marcel put single since 1986. What's with that, Marcel? We aliens can't handle human women. You don't want me to touch that, do you? Oh, that sounded even nastier. Okay, I ain't touching that either. Um, so Marcel, I would just really be curious why you say that you aliens can't handle human women. You got my mind going, and now inquiring minds want to know. Yes. Okay. Whatever. Okay, so anybody else have any other questions? So MNRD34, was there a question that you had regarding doing muscle testing or about muscle testing as well? Okay, DJ, I need for you to stop. This is my forum, not your forum, and I really don't mean to be mean, but too much, too much. Um, anyway, anybody else have any questions? And Marcel, I really am waiting for an answer from you. Um, I mean, I've never heard about aliens having issues with women. Maybe you only have issues with narcissistic women, and then that can just be a problem in and of itself. Okay, Eva says it's the part where I have difficulty with if something happens to this narcissistic parent during the silent time. Yes, it is a very difficult situation, and the best is to take care of yourself. Thank you, Dr. Rita. Um, but think about it this way, Eva. If there's something going on with the narcissistic parent, then they'll let you know because they want the attention. Um, you know, I mean, I think you can set some ground rules, especially, if you're on a break, just a general thing like if it's an emergency, that they can reach out to you. But again, you set the ground rules. And if they have an emergency, they need to tell you what the emergency is, not, hey, call me up. I'm having an emergency, because then you call them up and it's like they can't find their car keys or some crap. Um, and so I think creating some rule, but I understand what you're saying um, about if something happens, but I think you can create some rules and boundaries around that. And again, if they have an emergency or something is going on that they need you and need your help, because I know you're not running away, um, that they can make that communication, and then but they have to be clear about what it is, and then you can decide whether you are going to respond to it or not. Hope that helps. um, okay, so MNRD34 said I had a muscle test to determine where I needed attention. And chiropractors are famous for using muscle testing, to test your body, to test what herbs or supplements are good for you. Um, and so I don't find that is, I mean, it's kind of standard fare. A lot of I'm going to say alternative health practitioners, not, like I'm a naturopath. I went to school for naturopathy and a medical intuitive, so I don't use that test, but I have friends that sell herbs and supplements as part of their business, and they will use muscle testing to help identify which supplements are best for the person using muscle testing as well, or pendulum. And I find the two very similar. Chiropractors tend to do muscle testing way more than pendulums, but a pendulum is something that you can use for yourself. Okay. All right. Okay, so MNRT34, sorry, said, didn't know if I was sending signals via my mind or my body. And so, there is kind of a little bit of an agreement going on, mental, and I'm trying to simplify this best I can. An agreement that's going on, and so you put your arm out for them to do the muscle test, and then the chiropractor, and I'm assuming that he's using it more for diagnostic, is poking around and then testing your arm. But the agreement is, if I touch here, are you strong or are you weak? Is this part of you in health, or is it there's something wrong? And um, and so it is your mind and your body all happening at the same time. It's a little hard to explain, but I hope that says okay. Okay, so I guess I irritated DJ. Okay, Rita, bye. Sorry for sharing info that helps others. Watched you since 2017, but I've learned that I know most of the answers to all these questions you are asked, and it never finished. So, okay. This is kind of, we haven't really had a whole like health related episode. But it's okay. You didn't come really with any questions, DJ. You just came with answers and commentary. Okay. You have a good one too, DJ. And I'm really sorry if I irritated you, but it was just too much. It was just too much. And I do hope you come back. Maybe be a little quieter. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Well, thanks, DJ. You unfortunately don't give the proper answers. You make it up. Sorry, DJ, I don't make it up. And I'm really not doing psychic readings. I'm just talking. And I know that you know all. And see, now you've kind of really pissed me off. Okay, bye, DJ. You have a great one. Okay, so MNRD34 says she never suggests supplements, but she was, from what I gather, trying to find why I was having vertigo. And not all chiropractors recommend supplements. Supplements are for very specific issues. Um, some people will ask for them. Not all chiropractors even have any on hand. Um, I mean, the chiropractor I go to actually has supplements in his office, but well, one has never offered me any or made any recommendations. And it just really depends on the chiropractor. And anyway, I'm sorry, I lost my place. Um, Personally, if given the choice, I would rather go to a chiropractor that doesn't offer supplements than a chiropractor where offering supplements are a big part of their practice. And I'm going to give a very specific reason. So, one of the things that I have seen, because I've had people that have gone to see this chiropractor who have come to see me, and not the same ones, different ones over various points in times. Um, who will go to the chiropractor and they'll get muscle tested for all of these supplements and leave with like $300 worth of supplements, and he's giving them all kinds of stuff, you know, probiotics and vitamin C and this and that. And yeah, it's not that what they're offering is not good for your whole body, but most people are not going to be compliant taking 10 pills a day, every day, at a cost out of pocket for like $300 a month. I mean, people just aren't going to do it. And that's not the way I deal with it. Um, unless there was somebody has some real chronic issue going on where they need that level of supplementation, to me, it's a red flag um, when practitioners do that. And so I hope that was some good advice. So, um, okay, but let me just take a little look see. Um, okay, so MNRD, man, I just am really having a hard time with your screen name. Um, when I take a look in your body, see, I'm going to give you an opinion here. So when I look in your body, one of the things that you're showing me is that you have some inflammation in your inner ear, and it actually is going down the escalation tube, but it's also going into, and I'm not really like an ear expert, but it is going into like the inner ear, like your cochlear, where the little hair fibers are. To be a bit more scientific, I would have to have a picture with real names on it. And so I feel like that inflammation is what is creating the vertigo. And it would not surprise me if there's also some hearing loss or perhaps some tendonitis, well, on both sides, but on one side more than the other side. Um, I'm not sure, and I might be speaking out of turn, but I'm not sure that chiropractic work is really going to help resolve the issue, because I'm not. Okay, hang on. So I'm looking at your spine and your cervix, or the medulla oblongata area, and there is some subluxation. There is some tightening of the muscles and subluxations in that area, but I'm not sure if it is the cause. Well, interesting. Okay, I'm getting like there's a 30% impact of the what's going on in your spine. But short of that, I mean, they can't adjust your inner ear. Um, and so, yeah, um, I hope that helps and makes sense. I'm just wondering if you did something like took some ginger oil, so not, and put that like, all right, like right here on the outside of the ear to help reduce some of the inflammation that's going on in there. Okay, so Sarah said, hi, can I have a card, please? So I'm assuming you're thinking I'm doing card readings, which I'm not. So Sarah, if you have a question, you are more than free to ask the question below and I will answer it. I respond to direct and specific questions, not can you tell me something? Because most of us, when we come to something like this, we have something going on there. There's stuff going on in our lives that we need some guidance and direction. And so please post something below and I'll be happy to respond. Yeah. And so, all right, we're back with MNRD. Yeah. So, see, yeah, tinnitus and humming, but that was the prequel to the vertigo. And I feel like it just has gotten worse over time. Okay. So, Nathan wants a free reading, which is great. And I don't read the future. So, if you have a more specific question, then that would be great. Okay, DJ, this is really, you need to go. All right, you really need to go. Okay. Okay, and Neptunian, you need to go too. No, all right, so we got MNRD. No, the noises are not coming from your brain. It's from the congestion that's going on inside your ear. Okay, Neptunian, go away. But we're almost done, so it doesn't mind. Doesn't matter. Okay, all right. So I don't predict the future, so you need to ask us specific questions, and I don't talk to dead people. Now, if you have a spirit guide that you want me to tap into, that's one thing. But dead people, don't do that either. Sorry. DJ, you need to go. I've asked you to go, and you need to go. Thank you. Oh, now we have Goddess Queen. You know what? Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in this week. I'm getting kind of cranky, and I am going to go. If you'd like to schedule a private consultation with me where we can talk about your health, your love life, we can talk about anything other than predicting the future and dead people. And you can do that by going to soulhealer.com to schedule a private consultation. Send me an email and we will get something set up. And don't forget to like me, Dr. Rita Louise, on Facebook. And if you are a YouTube person or not a YouTube person, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. And so I will be back again next week, next Monday night, live at 7 o'clock. Please do bring your questions. If you have anyone you know who could use my help, would like to get some insight about what's going on with themselves, their health, whatever, wants to talk about ancient mystery, chakras, I mean, I really will talk about anything. Please do have them tune in. So until next week, I'm Dr. Midnight Live